My name is Mia Campofiore, and today I will be discussing what it means to be consciously aware of biased behavior as a manager in the workplace. I'd like to start off by saying that I am a manager and I have seen it before in my place of work currently, but also speaking up has a big role in changing the behavior. So I want to start with talking about what it means to be a manager. In today's society, being a manager is very difficult, and there's many reasons why it can be very difficult. Some of those complications can be being able to spot out the biased situation. When it comes to speaking up, it can be hard depending who you are speaking up against. Being a manager, though, also comes with a lot of responsibility, whether it being the runner-up of being in charge of the business or keeping your employees in line or even speaking up when needed. With today in the society the way it is, being in charge can be very difficult because people treat people differently based off their race, their gender, or what they identify as. So being able to understand what it means to be inclusive and what diversity in the workplace truly means is very important today. So once again, like I stated earlier, my personal experience is being a manager is I was working at a restaurant, and I was just kind of filling in whatever spots needed the filling. So whether that be expediting the window, hostessing, serving, bartending, whatever. At that time, even though I was doing 4 jobs at once, I was getting paid minimum wage and doing pretty basic work at the end of the day. So once I was promoted, I took the position immediately because I thought it was a really great opportunity for me to grow as a person and even get the name as a manager under my belt for future jobs. However, there was one other person who was also promoted the same time as me, who was working the same positions as I was, same background. He's also still a student in college, and I actually am about 2 years older than him. So once again, the big difference is I'm a female, he's a male. Being hired on, I got a raise, and so did he when we were hired on as managers, and we were expected to do the same job. However, he got paid a lot more than I did, and I truly believe it's because of the biased behavior that is in my workplace today. So being biased comes in many different forms, like I stated earlier, whether it's a race thing, sexual thing, or what you identify as, stuff like that. So being aware of this is important because then you are able to speak up and correct that situation. So currently, I am not being paid the same as him. However, I have speaked up and I have been told that I will be getting that same amount of pay. So that is very important because before taking this course, I was not confident enough to speak up and raise my voice and state why I felt like this was very unfair and biased. So these are different ways that in my workplace, at least, I am able to be inclusive and make sure to include every employee and treat them all the same. So including everyone into decisions that will affect everyone is very important because everyone at the end of the day should have a voice on how their workplace will change or be influenced. Taking feedback and using it wisely is also very important. Listening to everyone and what they have to say is very important. Respecting different opinions is very important. Creating a sense of belonging. And by that I mean making sure everyone feels like they are included and that they belong in this workplace. Make sure that your employees feel valued and offer your employees development opportunities. So just going back really quick, I do want to say that when I started this job, I did feel very valued, and I still do to this day, even though there is that pay difference between me and my male employee who do the exact same job. I still do feel very valued and important in the business. So that is very important as well, because if not, I probably would have quit already. So I want to kind of break down everything. So including everyone into decisions that will affect the workplace. Making decisions in the workplace affects everyone because it can change how they do their job. So in making these decisions, it is important to include everyone in their input because everyone's opinion matters and everyone has a different input at the end of the day. So according to Catalyst, there are 11 different types of biases that are seen in the workplace. It's important to recognize all of these biases so that you're able to avoid them when or if you ever become in charge. It is important to include everyone because this will eliminate that sense of biased behavior in the workplace. So when, for example, if you're making a decision on uniform, it is important to listen to everyone and their opinions on the uniform, because people have different opinions and they can offer something that you didn't even think of. I also do want to speak on these 11 different types and why it's important, because I didn't even know that there were 11 different types, and now that I do, I'll be able to kind of put that into play when I'm making decisions in my place of work and listen to everybody. Next, I want to talk about taking feedback and using it wisely. So this has a lot to do with including everyone in the workplace on certain decisions. Once again, it's important to use everyone's feedback wisely. Don't brush it off. Don't ignore when someone is giving their input, because everyone's input at the end of the day is very important. Acknowledging people and letting them know that you hear them and what they're saying is also important. It doesn't matter who they are, what they identify as, their race, gender, whatever. Even if you don't want to take the input, you can simply let them know that you hear them and then turn down what they have suggested, as long as you just let them know that you're acknowledging them and what they believe. So creating a sense of belonging in the workplace. When it comes to this sense of belonging, it is very easy to be biased without even knowing you are. That is why recognizing these unconscious biased behaviors is important. Creating this safe space for people to express themselves is all on you at the end of the day, and it also will affect the business. I purposely chose to use the article, like the TED Talk article, because it does a good job explaining how to outsmart your own behavior and make sure that you're not being biased in any way. As human beings nowadays, it's very easy to become biased and we won't even recognize it. So that's why tricking our brains is very important, because we can examine our own behavior and reflect on who we are and what we strive to be. Next, I want to talk about making sure employees feel valued. So once again, in the workplace, it's very easy to become divided. People branch off and find who they're very similar to or who makes them feel comfortable, because sometimes certain people will not make them feel comfortable. So the article I chose to talk about and kind of relate to this is an LGBTQ plus community article, because they have that sense of not feeling valued in the workplace, and just even recognizing that at the end of the day is very important. And at my place of work, I do have people who work for us who are part of that community, and it's important for me that they do feel valued. Offering your employees development opportunities. So by training for success right from the start is very important, because this allows people to strive for these opportunities. So when I first started, obviously I did want to be something more than what I was hired on to be, and that's why I trained hard and followed alongside my former manager, just that I was able to be offered this opportunity. I chose an SHRM article, which discusses implicit bias resource guide and better workplace for the world. And this article ties into offering these opportunities and offering them to people, everyone who works there, not just because, not being biased. And offering these opportunities to everyone, no matter what, no matter who they are, no matter who they identify as, is important. And don't let your mind stray away from the one person's bias. Don't let your mind stray away from someone because you're biased. And that is it. Thank you.